Hi guys, I hope you guys are doing well. This is a brand new day and I'm making bread. I started with uh, measuring half a cup of water, lukewarm water, added 1.5 teaspoon of yeast and 2 teaspoon of olive oil onto the bowl. Mix it in and measured 3 cups of bread flour. Mix it in with 1 teaspoon of salt, and that's what we are going to start with today. I'm going to transfer it onto a clean bowl and let it brew for an hour. This is after an hour. I first dunked my hand into the water and then I'm stretching. How do I stretch and fold? This is the method that I'm using, the stretch and fold. If you don't want to use the stretch and fold, you can knead your bread. It's okay. You can knead it for 5 minutes or so, but this is the method that I am doing. And then after stretching and fold, I would let it sit again for another 40 minutes. While my dough was resting for another 40 minutes, I was ironing my curtains on the other side. I started with folding for 2 centimeter and ironing that 2 centimeter. It is a long process, especially for the curtains that has gathers. It's a lot of process, but I like how it is coming along and I'm not being too harsh on myself. I'm being kinder to myself as I'm making this because it is a lot of work. So I was multitasking on this day. After folding it for 2 centimeter and ironing it, I am now folding it for 18 centimeter and now ironing it, which in total is going to give me a hem of 20 centimeter. Yes, so that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm doing 4 curtains. The one was 5.5, two is 5.5, and two is 3.5 centimeters. This is the second fold. Yes, after it has been sitting for another 40 minutes. This is the second fold. We are still doing the stretch and fold. Stretch and fold. We are developing the gluten, and by the looks of it, it's developing quite nicely, and I really love it. Our dough is now ready to be shaped. I first started by sprinkling a little bit of flour on top of the dough, and then I sprinkled the counter surface. Then I'm going to transfer the dough onto the surface and start shaping it in a way that I want it to look. This is how I shape my bread. The first two sides it's going to be mini loaves, and the other two sides, the top part is going to be the rolls. Yes. This is how the loaves looks like. Then you're going to cover them with a dish towel. Let it proof for another 40 minutes. Bake at 190 degrees until golden brown, and they will come out looking like this. As simple like that. Then you let it cool for close to 20 to 30 minutes before you can cut through them. Otherwise, it's just going to be messy. These were the rolls that I was getting from the doughs. I made two batches. One was for Facebook and one was for YouTube. So after the bread has cooled down, then I went ahead to slice it up, and this is how it looks. In a pan, heat butter or oil, whichever way you prefer. I love cooking my livers, my chicken livers or any other liver in butter. It makes it soft. I don't know, maybe it's just my mind, I get, but that's how I prefer. Season your chicken livers with salt or aromat or whatever you like, and then cook them until they are well cooked. Once they are cooked, remove them from the pan, and I added two chopped onions or one, it depends on the size of your onions, and I added a handful of chopped mushroom in there, and I also added a little bit more of butter, and I added a red chili for that kick nyana, I get, yeah. Stir that in, cook them until they're translucent. And I added paprika, onion and garlic powder. They are almost finished. I added cumin and coriander powder and stir that in. I still felt like I needed to add more oil, but I refused, and I added about a tablespoon of flour. The reason I'm adding 1 tablespoon instead of 2 is because I'm going to add cream, so I don't want it to be too thick. And I also added a little bit of tomato paste. Then I added cream onto the pan, and I did rinse it off. I get it. So I rinsed it off and then stir everything in, making sure that everything is well coated. I felt like the sauce was a bit thick, but my dilemma was that I didn't want to add more milk as this was going to be too rich. So I added a little bit of water. And I don't see anything wrong with adding water, because if I was using a chicken stock, the liquid one, I was going to add that. That is water, right? So I stir that in, making sure that yonke into is combined. Checked my seasoning and adjusted my salt, making sure that it tastes good. And at this point, it tasted good, really good. Kids tata this thing pela. This is what we order when we go out. I get bread and chicken livers. Yes, and then I added my chicken livers back onto the pan, stir them in, making sure that everything is well coated, and let it simmer, and it's ready. This was another day, and I was cutting boneless chicken thighs. I wanted to make biryani, so I was just making sure that the pieces are in bite-sized pieces. So I did add onion and garlic powder, paprika, a little bit of turmeric there, not a little bit actually, just enough. Added garam masala onto the cumin and coriander powder, 6 gun. I bought it in December, fit. And then I added a teaspoon of chicken stock powder, stir that in. These are literally the spices that I use all the time. If you have been here for long, you would know that this is what I use all the time, like my go-to spices at all times. And I love them. And I did not have yogurt, so I used inkomazi. I ended up adding a little bit more onto there because I felt like it wasn't enough. And then so I stirred that in, making sure that everything is well coated. These are the up-to-date potatoes. I love them. I cooked my rice in turmeric, and then I started with coriander seed, green cardamom, onion seeds, allspice berries. Stir that in, toasting them a little bit. Chilies, yes, I added chili flakes onto there, and then I added paprika as well. You should reduce your stove. Mine was too high, but nonetheless, cumin and coriander powder in there. Stir them in, and garam masala. Also added garam masala, and I added 3 medium-sized sliced onion onto there. Yes, reduce your heat. I made a mistake of not reducing my heat and forgot that I was using cast iron. I also added turmeric powder onto there, stir it in, making sure that everything is well coated. Cook them, and then I also added onion and garlic powder. I was adding them bit by bit because I was trying to make sure that it does not get burnt. And I also added a 6 gun, and I felt like the paprika was not enough, so I added a little bit more. So I continued stirring that in, and I added a cinnamon stick. The only thing that I did not have was the star anise. Yeah, I didn't have the star anise, and then I added aromat, stir it in. My onions were coming all right. They were doing the things that I want them to do, and then I added my chicken that was marinated, or that has been marinating for an hour or so. I was making sure that all the juices are going in there, and then stirring it in. I didn't have normal garlic, so I added black garlic onto there. It's sweeter, but it still gives you that garlic aroma as well. So that's what I used instead of the normal garlic. Yes, and I added tomato paste. You can be generous with your tomato paste on this one because you do want that bit of a color. And I added 2 cubes, though I only showed you guys one here. I added 2 cubes. I did not have chicken stock, so I added beef stock onto there, and then I added a little bit of water, not too much, because my rice is already cooked, I get, so I don't need to add too much water. I was going to need to add too much water if my rice was not cooked. And I added a 1 canned tomato. I did cut it up. These are whole. I love them. I love whole tomatoes. I don't know why, but I do. And then my lentils, I cooked the lentils on the side, and then I added about, let's just say, a cup. And then I added my potatoes, which I cooked them in what do we call, in turmeric. The intention was to do this, was to deep fry them, right? But time was not on my side. This was Sunday, and I was going to church, so I didn't have enough time to do so. Therefore, I ended up just eating them like this. But I don't think it was wise. Yes. So next time, this is the first time I'm actually making proper biryani. I've always made it my way, you know. I called it biryani, but it wasn't really biryani or biryani, however it is called. And then I added my rice into there, and then from here it is just stirring everything together. And then we had that with a little bit of mango mango salsa. I wanted to make tomato salsa, but I realized that I did not have fresh tomatoes, so we ended up having that with mango salsa, which was really, really, really delicious. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on my next upload. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Bye.